Kristen, the VIP list from Mark. Happy Bike to Work Day! Welcome. My name is Leah Shaham. I'm the Executive Director with the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition. It is an honor to stand here today with many distinguished leaders of our city, our neighborhoods, and our business community, and so many San Francisco citizens who biked into work today. Today we are celebrating the fact that bicycling counts. I want to ask, how many people were counted today, literally, as they biked down Market Street? Nice! And I want to shout out a huge thanks. The new bicycle counter that was unveiled today on Market Street. Thank you to the city, the Municipal Transportation Agency, and the Department of Public Works. And huge thank you to Congregate and Jim Greer, where's Jim, for sponsoring the bike counter. A great example of a public-private partnership coming together to make sure bikes count. I had a great ride in today with the mayor, and I know we had rides in from all 11 districts, all 11 supervisorial districts, which is exciting. We're going to get to hear from the mayor and the various supervisors. But first I want to talk a little bit about why we're celebrating today Bicycling Counts. Obviously, we are literally counting bicycles on Market Street and throughout the city today. We've never seen so many people bicycling in San Francisco. 71% more people than just 5 years ago. And I think we all see it as we ride. And bicycling counts not only for those of us riding, but for all our friends who are in their cars or in their muni buses, because we are easing traffic and congestion on the roads. All of you who rode in today. We are opening up parking spaces for those who do need to get around another way. We know bicycling counts to make sure we get to work on time with less stress and feeling good. We know bicycling counts as a way to keep our city affordable. So the people that really need to make ends meet and are striving to make ends meet, we know transportation is not a small cost in our city. We know that bicycling is helping working class folks get by better. We know biking counts for families and to help make our city more family friendly. We know that we're seeing more families ride into school together. We had more than 52 schools and more than 3,000 people, by the way, participate in Bike to School Week just 2 weeks ago. We know bicycling counts when certain muni lines are very busy, very crowded. We can help ease that pressure and help make sure the people that need a seat on the bus get it, because many of us can bike. We know that bicycling counts to connect our neighborhoods and our commercial districts, to make it easier for me to ride to Brownie's Hardware or to Brenda's for soul food for breakfast, because I can pull right up on my bike, park, and enjoy. We know bicycling counts for businesses that are trying to attract the best and the brightest. And they're doing so by attracting folks that want to live in the city and work in the city and walk and bike and take transit. We know bicycling counts because our city leaders, many of standing behind me, have set ambitious goals. I want to really applaud the board of the Municipal Transportation Agency and staff and the leadership who have set a very ambitious goal to say, how are we going to accommodate more people living and working in San Francisco, which is our shared goal? How are we going to do that? We're partly going to do it by thinking differently, by making sure people have choices to walk when they want to walk, bike when they want to bike, take transit, drive, car share, take taxis. It's about choices. And we're setting ambitious goals and we're getting there. I want to thank all of our city elected leaders who rode in today. It's going to be too many people to thank out there, but I want to bring up some of our very special riders. I don't know if I grabbed his number. Mayor Lee, what number rider were you today?
729.
I would like to welcome to the podium rider number 729 on Market Street today, Mayor Lee.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Bike to Work Day. Well, I'll be very brief. I know we have a lot of great speakers here, and I want to also add my thanks to the Bicycle Coalition, to the nonprofits, to the people that are volunteering their time here today at all the energy stations around and really promoting. You know, we have one of the best recognized Bike to Work days in all of the nation, and there's a good reason why. I think the collaboration that's going on between the Board of Supervisors, the Mayor's Office, our transit system to promote healthy living, to keep our health in the front, but also to provide a level of safety that everybody can have confidence in, because safety for everyone then promotes how we can have the modes of transportation that we want in our city. So having done that, remember last year we rode through Golden Gate Park and the Wiggle, and this year we got to ride down the waterfront and visualize with all of our understanding of what Pier 70 is going to be like, and You know, last night I was with the Maker Movement, Ness made, and they were excited about our bike ride today because we're going to go down areas where people are going to be really proud of those developments along the waterfront, the exposure on it, and then thinking through how modes of transportation can be complementary of our bicycling world. And then coming up the waterfront to be able to see the excitement around the Pier 70 area, along with the Mission Rock, you know, the areas along the waterfront that we're doing, see the Brandon Street Wharf that we're going to be finishing very shortly. And of course, in less than 5 years, we'll be able to see a new arena that's going to replace these dying piers down there at 3032. Then we came up Howard Street, so it's a very neat ride. You guys all got to do that, experience that, because it was wonderful. It was challenging at certain parts, but you know, again, that's part of the excitement and part of the riding experience in the city. It also says that we've got some great partners out there, and I want to, again, thank the Board of Supervisors, because with these private partners, we have a chance to improve even more. And of course, my number reflects the contribution of Congregate, who has sponsored this year on the Bike Barometer. We will use that count in many other ways, but they're the beginning of some very great partnerships with our startup companies, our technology companies, and others. And today, we're going to be thanking them in a very special way. There's going to be some special awards given, but I have the privilege of announcing this year's awardees that are great partners with our city. And they include Meraki for the excellence in promoting and encouraging bicycling in the workplace. Thank you, Meraki. Method Company for fostering and encouraging great bicycling. Great products as well. I'm using them. My wife says they smell really great. So, David Baker and Partners, architects. They are leading the way in innovative parking for bicycles, supporting the great bicycling community in San Francisco. And finally, another SF-made company, Timbuktu. Yes, all of their accessories, the great incentives. All of these companies, I want to congratulate them for being the award recipients this year. Go Bicycle to Work Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. We are going to move quickly. I'm going to start with the supervisors who probably rode from the furthest distances today. I'm going to start with Supervisor Cohen, who rode with me from District. Which is further? Supervisor Cohen, come on up, and if you could share your number.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm proud to be bike number 733. As opposed to, I think my colleague Scott is 451. We had a hike. I just actually want to acknowledge, complimenting what the mayor said. I was on that bike this morning, and it's absolutely beautiful. The southern waterfront. Keep an eye out for that bike path that's going to be connecting the southern waterfront to the central waterfront. It's going to be beautiful. The Blue Greenway, it's going to be immaculate. We're going to be connecting neighborhoods to the waterfront, which historically has never happened. That Pier 70 project is going to transform the southeastern neighborhoods of San Francisco. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge all of my friends and my neighbors that rode along with us this morning. Thank you. It was good to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again next year. Go Dog Patch.
Very excited to welcome our newest supervisor to Bike to Work Day, riding from District 4, Supervisor Katie Tang. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Bike to Work Day. I neglected to get my bike number. I'm sorry, but I know what you're all asking, and the answer is yes, I did ride all the way from the Sunset District. And it was so great to meet so many new constituents, and unfortunately, I think I lost them along the way. But really, it was so great and wonderful to ride through Golden Gate Park. So, go Bike to Work Day.
Coming from one of my favorite districts to bike in, District 11, Supervisor John Avalos, running a record of how many years biking on Bike to Work Day? Every year.
15.
Every year.
Good morning. My name's John Avalos, and I forgot my number. I think it was 734. Close enough. This is one of my favorite events in San Francisco, Bike to Work Day. Bike to Work Day is about 2 to 3 days a week for me. I have a ride from the Excelsior District. It's about 5 5 miles. On the way in, I see that there's all kinds of work we need to do in District 11 to promote cycling. We're doing some major steps. The Bike Coalition's doing these great convivio events, bringing community together to educate about bikes. My wife is a teacher at her school doing the same thing, partnering up with the Bike Coalition for that. But we need paint, we need infrastructure, all that's coming forward thanks to the MTA, but not fast enough. I just had to say that. Anyways, it was a great ride coming in. We had about 10 people with our bike contingent. We had women this year, which was awesome to see, and we'll have more of that in years to come. Thanks.
Yes, let's preface that. Everything we're saying is going so well, but we want faster. Absolutely. Everything and more. I'd love to also bring up Supervisor Eric Marr, who we know rides regularly from District 1, the Richmond.
Thank you. I'm number 572 today, by the way, and the Richmond District has seen such an increase, a dramatic increase in bicyclists, and I think it's because of the great work of the leaders like Leah and the Bicycle Coalition leadership and all the base of people throughout neighborhoods in the city. I think it's also because of the Oak Street bike lane that looks awesome this morning. But it's also the green waves all along Fulton and Arguello and the bike lanes on Cabrillo and also Fulton, Cabrillo and Lake as well in the Richmond. But thank you so much for the great work. We're going to keep continuing to make Masonic and all the other improvements so that we can have more biking from the Richmond and throughout the city. Thank you, everyone.
And speaking of Masonic, I'd love to bring up the next two supervisors whose district touches on that very important bike route. If I could, Supervisor Mark Farrell from District 2, thank you for riding.
Thanks, Leah. Happy Bike to Work Day, everyone. I am number 550. Proud of it. Here we go. Look, the sun is shining on us today. Thank goodness it came out. It's a great day to bike to work. Just like the sun shone on the on the Warriors and the Giants, who I know are here represented. Thank you guys for being here. These organizations. You know, it's amazing in District 2. We see more and more people ride in the evenings and on the weekends, but so many more people that I met today that ride to work every single day, and we got to continue to work together with the MTA and our Board of Supervisors and a great Mayor Lee who promotes this to make our streets safer. I want to just really quickly thank everybody who came out to Pete's Coffee on Chestnut Street, rode in from the marina. We had Aaron from Cow Hollow. We had folks from Seacliff ride to the marina, and even Adam, who's there, rode from the Mission District all the way down to the marina to ride back here. Happy Bike to Work Day, everyone.
We are just looking for excuses to ride our bikes today. I am very excited to bring up the supervisor who I think has the freshest green paint in her district, who we are most excited about riding today and every day on Oak Street, Supervisor London Breed.
Hi, everybody. My name's London Breed, and I am so happy to be supervisor. Because of the lobbying of the Bicycle Coalition in my office, we have now finally completed the Oak Street Bicycle Corridor. So I just want to thank Director Ed Riskin for working so hard. The ballards are coming to separate the lanes. As policymakers, it's our job to make sure that bicyclists are safe. We still have other projects to do, and Supervisor Marr and Supervisor Farrell and I are working on federal funding to make sure that we complete the Masonic Boulevard project as well. The wiggle will be improved. These are priorities for me, not just because biking is clean, not just because bicycling is efficient. It's because a lot of folks in San Francisco are bicycling, and we have got to make it safe, and we have to do it faster. Thank you all so much for coming out to Bike to Work Day.
All right, I like this faster theme. I'm excited now to bring up from my own supervisorial district, District 9, Supervisor David Campos.
All right. Hello, everyone. I want to thank the contingent from District 9. I think we had the best-looking, most energetic contingent today. Just my bias. And by the way, I do think Supervisor Breed gets extra points for riding in those boots. That's pretty incredible. I just want to talk about a couple of things. Clearly, as you ride, you realize that there are some things that we still need to work on. Mr. Mayor, that turn on 7th from 7th Street from Market Street is it's a pretty rough one, so I think that's something to work on in the near future. But I also want to acknowledge some of the work that's happening regionally, and Supervisor Wiener and I are members of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, and we voted just recently on the bike share program, which is a good start, but as Supervisor Wiener noted at the hearing, we need to make sure that it's more robust, that San Francisco, the Bay Area, should do better than just 1,000 bikes. So we need to make sure that happens. And then the other thing is that I think that we need to make sure that city resources generally, that more is invested in bikes. The reality is that we're doing a lot, but I think that we can do better. And the last thing that I would say is that I want to thank the Bicycle Coalition for the very impressive way in which they're reaching out to our diverse communities. And you see it in the mission. You have people like Chema from the Bicycle Coalition that are reaching out to the Spanish-speaking community in a culturally competent way. We need to make sure that biking is for every San Franciscan. We need to make that happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. And hopefully to share a little bit more about bike share moving forward in the Bay Area, Supervisor Scott Wiener, District 8.
Thank you. I am biker number 451. I think I might be the lowest, and the Castro is a little bit closer than the Richmond or the Excelsior. But let me tell you, and I know you all know this, that even that short, relatively flat trip can be a little bit harrowing. Market Street is it's sort of a mess. I know Mohammed Noor is going to take care of that. We're going to get it resurfaced and get a much better Market Street. And I know that we're going to work with Ed Riskin to start enforcing against double parking, right? Take care of that double parking. But you know, it's biking is on such an upward trajectory in this city, and it's such a positive thing for our city to have more and more options for people other than driving their cars. But you know, we got to get real here and understand that we can talk about biking and Muni and all these alternatives until we're blue in the face. If we don't put our money where our mouth is and start investing in these alternatives, in bike infrastructure, in Muni, it's not going to happen as fast as we need it to happen. So I want to move fast, and I want us to invest, and I want us to transform our city into a city where we can get around in all sorts of different ways, including biking. Thank you.
And finally, to bring up our board president, who knows these streets well on his bicycle, Supervisor David Chu.
I want to thank District 3 for coming out today. We were, I think, number 379. And I also want to take a moment and thank the woman who is leading the movement on this effort, because she hasn't yet been properly thanked today. Leah Shayam with the Bike Coalition, thank you for what you're doing. And to all of you, thank you for walking the walk and riding the ride. We have come so long, and you have heard from so many of our colleagues on all the good things we're doing. But does anyone think we can do better? In San Jose, downtown, we have separated bike lanes. In Davis, we have 4 times as many people on the streets riding their bikes. In San Francisco, we spend less than half of 1% of our budget. So, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Ruskin, we look forward to working with you. Anyone think we need a little bit more money for bike improvements? Thank you so much for being here. Let's get it done.
And I would love to welcome up Ed Reskin from the MTA. Huge thanks to MTA for sponsoring Bike to Work Day and leading the work on Oak Street, Polk Street, 2nd Street, Market Street. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's great to hear all the folks behind me pledging to send more money into the transportation system. So thank you in advance for that. You know that it's our job at the MTA to make bicycling in San Francisco safe and attractive for people. I think Leah really spelled out why that's important for the transportation system. It's a great way to get around. It's good for the environment. It's good for your own health. But it's really important for the transportation system. Everybody who's on a bike is not in a car, is not taking space in an overcrowded transit system. It's really an important part of how we're going to grow as a city, as we're going to accommodate growth and maintain the great quality of life that we love here. This work isn't cheap and it's not easy, and I think we've heard a lot of references to that, and it's not always as quick as any of us would like it to be, but it takes a lot of leadership to make this happen. So I do want to thank all the folks behind me, but in particular the MTA Board of Directors. And I know our board chair, Tom Nolan, rode in, did one of the long rides. He had to leave. Our vice chair, Cheryl Brinkman, is here. Another board member, Leona Bridges, is here. If I'm missing any, I'm in big trouble because they're my boss. But when it comes down to making this stuff work, it requires hard decisions about how we allocate space in the public right-of-way, and it's the MTA board that's ultimately making those decisions. They've been very strong, demonstrated very courageous leadership to make this stuff happen, so I want to acknowledge that. And that's supported by the great staff work of the men and women of the MTA. I see Bridget Smith and Salita Reynolds here, two of our leaders, making this stuff happen. But really, this is all about making the city a better place to live, making it healthier, cleaner, more enjoyable. I hope we got a few converts today on Bike to Work Day, and thanks everybody for coming out.
I want to note that in the maybe 30 seconds or so that Mr. Reskin was talking, I saw 2 women ride by with 2 kids each on the back of her bike. That's 2 adults, 4 kids, just in that 30 seconds. I also want to take a minute to thank some of the other great leaders of our city who rode today and are here today, in addition to the MTA directors. Thank you for joining. We also have Nadia, who is representing Assemblyman Tom Amiano's office. We also have directors Mohammed Nuru from Public Works, Carla Johnson, and Melanie Nutter, SF Environment, Carla Johnson, Mayor's Office on Disability. So thank you all, and I saw Sheriff Mercarimi here as well. Thank you all so much. I want to close out. It is wonderful to hear from our city electeds. I want to close out today with 2 folks who bike to work most days. They are regular folks who are biking in from their neighborhood, biking with their kids, biking across the city, biking to work, and they're going to share how the work that all of you are doing up here on stage is helping them. And I'll first bring up Allie Sant.
Hi. I had the great pleasure of riding in today with the mayor and Leah and our wonderful band of folks, so that was wonderful. And we also rode with our 2 boys, Ben and Caleb, 4 and 7. So I'm a mom and a founder and president of the Studio for Urban Projects. We're also a member and supporters of the San Francisco Bike Coalition. About 4 years ago, my older son turned to me and we were riding in the car and he was looking out of the window and he said, "Mom, is it real?" And I knew something needed to change. And so we began riding and taking public transit and walking more, much more. Now we bike to school and to work pretty much every day. From our route is from the Mission over close to the Presidio and to our offices in Soma. And some of our favorite parts of the ride are along Valencia Street, where the green wave and the mass of fellow bicyclists make the trip feel safer. Along Market, the separated bikeway is a pleasure, and we're always stunned by the volume of bicyclists riding through there. On the other hand, Pacific Heights, there's less bicyclists and fewer dedicated lanes, and in Soma, even though there's lanes that are dedicated, the cars are so fast, and many of them don't observe the bike lanes that it doesn't feel safe. Overall, we feel like the risks are worth it. The kids have gone from torturing each other in the back seat, which many parents know, to enjoying the sights, sounds, the topography of San Francisco. And they love chatting up their fellow bicyclists. We've even started an informal bike pool inspired by Bike to School Day, where a group of us ride together so that the kids can ride solo on their bikes in a little bit safer environment. And we all get exercise and air, and the kids arrive ready to focus on their work. We've had the fortune of riding in other cities with our kids, including Copenhagen, New York, Portland, and Seattle. And our best experiences have been in cities with separated bikeways and cycle tracks, where all of us can feel safe. And there's less hostility between cars and pedestrians, which makes a big difference when you're a mom. And the steps that San Francisco has taken to improve bike lanes, especially along Market Street and Oak and Fell, have made our rides more pleasant and are inspiring. They're exciting for all of us, including our children, to see that things can change. I'm grateful to our city leaders who have helped to make our streets safer, and I urge you to keep it up and to quicken the pace. San Francisco has an incredible opportunity to become an international model for more livable streets, where we can enjoy the experience of biking, walking, and riding transit, or just relaxing in our incredible public spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie, and special thanks to Ben and Caleb for riding with us in their cargo bike today. They were a lot of fun to ride with. And finally, I want to bring up Julie Uoda, who is a new bicyclist, to share her story.
So thank you for, I got to ride in with Supervisor Eric Mars this morning, so that was great. I only learned how to ride a bike just a few years ago through an SFMTA sponsored and San Francisco Bicycle Coalition led Learn How to Ride a Bike as an Adult class. So since then, with car-free spaces to practice, increased bicycle infrastructure in the last few years that have made me feel super safe, additional education classes from the SFMTA, I now commute from outer Richmond near Ocean Beach to downtown San Francisco 2 to 3 times a week, and I bike throughout the Richmond district all the time. Biking has made me a lot healthier. I'm certainly always happier when I arrive at my destination, and it's also made me feel much more connected to not only the people, the green spaces, but also my local businesses along my bike routes, from Other Avenues Grocery to Cole Hardware, Wax Shacks along the Wiggle, which I found on my bike. And of course all the places in Hayes Valley that I now frequent, from Timbuktu to Chez Mama. Biking has given me a sense of freedom and a sense of community that I never found in my car. I am a great example of someone who bikes today because our city made a commitment to increase biking. And so, not only focusing on bike infrastructure, but also on the needed education classes that I needed to get into the bikeway, and people like me continue to need. And so I say thank you to SFMTA, I say thank you to my city officials, and of course I say thank you to my San Francisco Bicycle Coalition for helping me find my love of biking. And I encourage you to continue to honor that commitment so more people like me will end up in the lane. So thanks everybody, and happy Bike to Work Day!
Thank you so much. Happy Bike to Work Day. Enjoy. Thanks everybody for coming out.